Hey y'all, thanks for stopping by the obviously Lee Authentic channel. My name's Leah, that's spelled L-E-A and not L-E-A-H. So, y'all, I'm tired. It's the middle of the day and I'm still tired. I stayed up till 3 a.m. reading a old/new manga series to me called Black Torch. The time I was on chapter 8 and I read all the way till the end of the series. It only had 19 chapters, I mean. Y'all, I looked up, it was 3 a.m. So your girl is tired, but I'm gonna try to get through this. So let's go. All right, so it kicks off where it left off, where we got Sutton versus Crystal. We got Sutton saying, "Your ugly leather pants." Jealous of what? Your ugly leather pants. I was like, ma'am. And then you got Crystal kind of giggling, but I think Crystal's giggle was more so like she was uncomfortable and didn't know what emotion to like show. I did, however, y'all, I got notes on my phone. I did, however, feel bad for her because I didn't like the fact that everybody rushed to Sutton, but no one checked on Crystal when she was sitting down at the couch. And I was kind of like, even Crystal told them to like go check up on Sutton, but I was like, one of y'all should stay to make sure she's all right too. Like, both of them are tripping right now, but one of y'all should be checking up on her. So then, like, you could tell, like, Sutton is, like, embarrassed by her emotions, but she's also, like, overwhelmed. And she's hyperventilating. She apologizes to the lady. She apologizes to Crystal. They all come and sit back on the couch. So then, I was happy that Garcelle checked on Crystal and told her, like, look, I'm going to be 100% with you. Everybody was taken aback by the word violate. And then Crystal was like, well, I'm not taking back the word. I totally agreed with Garcelle because I feel like Garcelle in this instance with this group setting was the voice of reason, in my opinion, because she was like, girl, like you can bend a little. Like, and I think Crystal can bend. I think that's the issue that I'm having with Crystal is like, I totally agree with her. I agree that if she felt like her privacy was abused and violated, then she has every right to feel that way. But if you see that the lady is like upset about that word, then you could still say, like, you could say my privacy was imposed upon. We know that means violated. We was like, my privacy was abused. We also know that means violated. There's a lot of synonyms out there for the word violated. So I feel like Crystal and Sutton, in my opinion, are making this a kingdom issue. Like my daddy always says, don't make this a kingdom issue. But I feel like they are because, in my opinion, I feel like Crystal could bend a little. Like I feel like her point has been proven when I say that, like, we know how she feels. I feel like she has every right to feel that way, but I feel like you see the lady tripping, just give her that. Like, you won the fight. Like, you won this war. Like, everybody online thinks Sutton is crazy. Like, you won. The women are even saying Sutton is tripping. So just give her a little bit, lady. Like, just a little bit. So then they go sit down. And they're talking. And then I like the fact that Erica told Crystal, stop egging her on, because Crystal was clearly egging her on. She knew the situation, how she knows Sutton is high strung. You called the lady manic. You damn near said she was like, she needed to be regulated. So it's like, you know what you're doing. Like you know what you're doing, Crystal. But they sat down, all of the ladies, and they asked. So then they're asking Sutton, like, what is the issue? Like, why are you so upset? She was like, it's your presence. When I tell y'all I screamed when she told Crystal, it's your presence. She was like, why are you constantly mean? And I was like, oh, okay. We just coming in there. So then Crystal comes back and was like, you're an inappropriate, awkward person and you're jealous. And I'm not apologizing. A lot of people have been speculating the reason why Kristen, I wouldn't call her, I hope I didn't even call her Kristen. Crystal, the reason why Crystal has been using jealous is because supposedly Sutton was still a friend of the show and Crystal was a housewife officially when she stepped on the scene. And Sutton didn't find out that she was a housewife until the end of, they were done like filming. So that's what people are saying. I don't know if that's true, to be honest, but I could kind of see that. I don't really think I don't think Sutton is jealous of Crystal. I just think Sutton is, like Crystal said, she's awkward. She's awkward and she was uncomfortable and she was embarrassed. Like, I think she felt left out because everybody brung a gift except her. And we know she the queen of gift giving. And Garcelle's supposed to be her friend. And I think she was embarrassed by that. And I also think she was a little jealous at the fact that Kathy, Kyle, and Crystal all like were buddy and got a gift together. And it's like, you hoes couldn't ask me to be a part of the gift. Because if you remember, someone told me in the comments, Dorit actually gave her own gift. So then that means Lisa and Erica gave a gift together. And then the other 3 women gave a gift. So Sutton was out cold. So I think she was just embarrassed and upset. And then I also think she was overwhelmed by the situation. Because what I don't like is when people are like, oh my gosh, she's tripping. Yes, Sutton is tripping, but we've all been in situations where we're at parties or functions where we're around people that we're not comfortable with. And it's like, you don't want to make the situation worse because this is an event for somebody else, but you're not comfortable being there with that person being there. Stop acting like that's not normal, because it is. Because I've been in them situations where I'm like, I don't want to be here, she here, or he is here, and I want to go home. Okay. So then, like, everybody was shook after Crystal said, you're an inappropriate, awkward person and you're jealous. Everybody was like, ooh. And then Sutton looked at her, and I know Sutton wanted her to cuss her out, but she was trying to keep it in. So then Crystal was like, I'm not going to fall for your crying. And you're trying to invoke sympathy. And Sutton was like, I'm not trying to invoke sympathy. I'm upset and I was going to leave. So then Crystal's like, then leave. And I was like, Crystal. See, this is my thing. Crystal and Sutton are the same in my opinion. I like both of the ladies. So this isn't like Team Crystal or Team Sutton. But they're the same in my opinion. You have Crystal, who is like sticking to her guns just like Sutton is sticking to her guns. And then but like their way of showing their emotions is so opposite of the spectrum. You got Crystal, who is being an ice queen and being very like no, I'm sticking, like she digging her feet in. And then you have Sutton, who is digging her feet in, but her expression of emotions is just like hysterical or hysterics. So if I'm being honest, y'all, and like I said, I like both of them. Crystal just came off looking like a bitch, in my opinion. When she said you're an inappropriate, awkward person and you're jealous, and then she told Sutton to leave, it's kind of like, Crystal, you won. Like, everybody is on your side. Like, a lot of the viewers agree with you, some don't, but most of them agree with you. And then on top of that, the ladies like are looking at Sutton like she tripping. So you could have been a little nice, but you could tell she was defensive, because when she was like, then leave, it was a very like juvenile response. But I think she was just like, she had her guard up and she was scared. Like, you could tell like she was just over it, because I think she realized in that moment, like, even though the ladies can tell Sutton is tripping, they all rushed to go take care of her, even though she was looking crazy. But nobody checked on Crystal like that except Garcelle and Erica. But if you notice, everybody else went over to Sutton. So I think Crystal felt like, okay, I have to protect myself. So she was like in defense mode, which is understandable. But I just wanted her to ease up off the gas. I was happy that Garcelle was being the voice of reason, and she jumped in and was like, look, y'all both need to put your big girl panties on and figure out what the issue is. So then Sutton says, I'm good. And then Garcelle's like, no, you're not. What's the issue? And then Sutton's like, you've hurt me in a lot of ways. And she said, I don't like that you use the word manic. And I didn't think that was something she would be upset about, but then they shed light that like her dad was actually, I guess, manic depressive, and he killed himself. So I got why she had an issue with the word manic, because she told, and I was glad Dorit told Crystal, like, her dad, like, you used that word after she told you about her dad committing suicide, and it hurt her feelings. And then Crystal was like, I felt like Crystal was about to go in again, but then when like they said, girl, her daddy, took himself out, and you use the word that like would describe him, she kind of like, ooh, and she softened up, and she did a roundabout way of apologizing for that word. So I'm hoping they can get to a better place. They seem to be friends now, but I was happy that Crystal checked Lisa, because Lisa was trying to like interject, and I was like, Lisa, shut up, ain't nobody talking to you, ma'am, ain't nobody talking to you, hush, 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 like we don't care, let them figure it out. So then it's 4 days later, and Kyle, Dorit, and Kathy ended up getting the Rona. And then the news about the whole lawsuit with Erica and Tom pops up. I'm not gonna lie, I laughed when Sutton and Garcelle was like on Zoom talking, and Sutton was shocked when she checked Fox. She was like, oh my God, it's on Fox. And the reason why I laughed is because I'm the same way. Not with no Fox. But like when it's CNN, like, and I'll give you an example. So like when a celebrity has passed away, I check CNN before I check TMZ. Because yes, TMZ has never been like wrong yet, but I still look at them with a side eye. So I'm definitely going to check CNN. So I think it was just funny because someone was like, oh, this real. Like this is not on no gossip blog. This is nothing. Like this is really real. So I thought it was interesting that everyone was like, oh, let's keep an open mind. And I think the reason why I had an issue with, like, last season, they was going in on Denise. And to be honest, I was kind of okay with them going in on Denise. But I'm like, if y'all had that much energy for Denise, y'all need to have the same energy for Erica's situation. But I saw a tweet that kind of made me sit back and be like, okay, this is different. Because the tweet was like, Puppygate, Pantygate, and then like a co-star sleeping with another co-star and it was consensual is not as serious as someone going through a real legal battle with the feds involved. And then I thought about it. I was like, yeah, that ain't the same thing. I think some of the ladies are being lenient with her, but I also think they realize like this is some serious stuff, because this is a lot of money and it's a lot of people who are coming after him, and the fact that the government's coming after him, I think the women are like, okay, we need to tread lightly with this conversation with Erica. So the crazy thing is like Erica's in her confessional and she was like, when I first divorced him, I was a gold digger. Now I'm a co-conspirator because everyone thinks my divorce was a sham. And then I thought the producers was trash for asking her. The producers asked Erica, how did you find out and why is your name on the lawsuit? I said, are y'all really trying to make her like implicate herself? Like, shut up. And then she said she can't afford all the lawyers that she needs. And then they also said that she's not getting any money for Tom to help her with this. And it means something because Erica really don't have money because Tom was the sole provider for her. So that's why she was asking for spousal support. So then we see Erica, Crystal, and Lisa, and they're at Erica's house. Side note, I'm sick of y'all calling that a small house, because that's a nice house that I would stay in. That's 3 bedrooms. That's enough room for you and your stuff and your German Shepherd. But I like the fact that Erica said, I didn't take down Tom. Tom took himself down. Because, look, if you believe Erica, like that she's telling the truth, you can believe that or you cannot believe that. But ultimately, you can't put the sole blame on Erica, because at the end of the day, he been doing this since before they got married. So you can't totally blame her for him stealing money or taking money from victims. I'll say allegedly, even though a lot of people think he did. But allegedly, like you can't blame him for that. Like you genuinely, like you can't blame her for that, I mean. Because he been doing this supposedly and allegedly for years like for over a couple of decades, y'all. So then, like I said, Erica and Crystal and Lisa are at her house. She said she didn't think things would go this way. She also said something about the power balance. And this is my thing. So this is where I think Erica is getting into trouble, because it's like, when you married him, yes, you were 28 and he was like 62 or 61. But if you already knew the power balance was like he was up here and you were down here, why would you put yourself in that situation? Like, you seem like a smart, intelligent woman where you could be resourceful on your own. And now that things are going bad, all of a sudden it's like, he was this horrible person, I was down here, and things of that nature. And I'm not saying that didn't happen, because I really do think it probably did happen. And like I said in my previous review, I think everything was going good until it wasn't. And Erica was just with Tom to save face and wanted to be on the show. And because she probably felt like she owed him in some way for him getting her on the show and her being able to get all these deals, push her like semi-important pop star career, and then also being on Broadway. So maybe she did feel like she owed him, but I'm thinking Erica might have known like at least 30% of what the heck was going on, in my opinion. So then she was like, please, she told Crystal and Lisa, like, please look at your bank accounts. And then this is when I got to check Crystal. Crystal, I'm sorry, ma'am. You need to know what's going on. Talk about bank accounts scare you. Girl, you got 2 kids. Bank accounts don't never need to scare you. And maybe that's just me because I'm poor compared to y'all. But it's like, I need to know where my money is going at all times. That is important. So this whole, like, I have never gotten or understood why women get into situations where their husband controls everything and you don't know nothing that's going on. Like, that's weird to me. I've always wanted it this way, where like I have my own account, he has his own account, and then we have a joint account that we use to pay bills, like the mortgage and things of that nature. But this whole thing about like, I don't really know, I know about big purchases. That's what Crystal said. She know about big purchases, but she don't know about the finite details of stuff. Girl, bye. You need to look at that man. Girl, you know where your money going. No, I don't. Hopefully, Chris, I hope you playing stupid. So he don't think you know how much money he's spending, because don't be dumb like that. And I'm glad Lisa said she know where everything is, because you need to know. And then Erica said something about a case where, like, she said anytime she tried to like push to understand what was going on, like she was in some Arizona case where they were like suing her for something, and Tom was like, don't worry about it. And every time she kept asking, he was like, I'm not talking about this, which I believe, because they have shown us clips of him shutting her down. So then while this is going on, Kyle and Garcelle are meeting up, and Kyle is still quarantining, but she's at the top of the on her balcony, and Garcelle's at the bottom. And Garcelle basically was like, do we really know her? And then they talked about going on some trip at La Quinta. I ain't never heard of it. And Kyle says it's just unbelievable because that's not the Erica we know, which is true. And then we found out that Kyle was in Little House on the Prairie. I hated that show. I hated when my grandparents used to watch reruns of it. And I hate it. Oh, God. I hated going down to their house. I was like, why? I was like, it's the 90s. Why are we watching Little House on the Prairie? So then we see Kyle and Kathy. Kyle's upset because with quarantine, she just been feeling like a sucky parent. And we could see with Portia, I think that's her little daughter's name, she needs her mom there to constantly like motivate her. But also she feels bad for Portia because Portia has missed out on a lot of things because of this. So she just feels bad. And I believe Kyle. I think we know Kyle loves her daughters. Like, if we don't know nothing else, Kyle loves her daughter and Mauricio. So I think it really is taking a toll on her that she can't be around her family the way she wants. Then we see Lisa and Sutton. So we get to meet Sutton's daughter, Porter. She's 18. She's double majoring in history and French, which is crazy, but my sister got her degree in history. So there is a lot of stuff you can do with that. I wonder why she wants to do French. Maybe she's going to go overseas or like live in Canada or overseas to Paris and things of that nature. We found out her daughter's in a sorority, and then Lisa gonna lie and be like she was in the same sorority. Y'all, I know how Divine Nines work, and those are black sororities and fraternities at HBCUs. I also know how the white ones work. They're like, I don't know unless they changed it, but Rush Week at the white like universities that like I know about is more than a month. It's like almost 2 or 3 months. And then there's like they still do hazing and stuff. So I'm like, how were you in a sorority for a month, ma'am? So no, I don't believe Lisa. And then I was happy that Sutton said she want to preserve her kids as kids, because you can see the difference. Like Amelia is 19 and then Porter is 18, and they have 2 totally different lifestyles. Porter is in college trying to get her education, and Sutton is committed to making sure her child stays a kid for as long as she can. Whereas you have Lisa's daughter, Amelia. Amelia is trying to live that Hollywood kid lifestyle. And she is. So, like, it's crazy to see the juxtaposition of, like, 2 kids who are technically the same age and, like, 2 different parenting styles. And then Sutton says she's not going to be judging Erica's situation. She just knows it's messy. So then we see Kyle and Erica, and this is at the end. So y'all, Erica overwhelmed. She's stressed out. Sis is like, she keep putting her hand on her head. It's like, oh my God. Oh my God. And it was like dramatic. And I couldn't tell if it was real or if it was fake. But I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt that it was real, since we've never really seen Erica like cry. But she said she never could have predicted all of this happening. She said she can't tell her side of the story. She has to wait until the timing is right. She's in a very lonely place. She's scared because now she's a possible target of a federal investigation, a criminal federal investigation. She was like, it's crazy to see how quickly people turn and run away from you when things are going bad, but they're always going to be there when things are going good, which is totally true. Like she said, if you ever want to know who your real friends is, and I've gotten this year, like I've found some real people in my life after something happened to me the first semester. So that's something true. Whenever things goes bad, the people that you really need in your life and you can depend on are the ones that show up. The people that you don't need are fodder. So that's really true. And then she said Tom is not in a good place. Granted, I'm trying to think if them Alzheimer's rumors might be true. Because they said, I was reading somewhere that they said Tom was trying to say that he had like either dementia or Alzheimer's. And Erica was like, he's not in a good place. Like he was resistant and he was in denial. Like when she was like, yo, your vision is messed up. He was like, no, it's not. And she's like, he was melting away in front of her face, and she just couldn't take it. And I felt bad for her because Kyle wanted to hug her, but she's sick, she can't. And she said something that I think was also true, where she was like, as much as Tom encouraged me, I think he resented me every time I took a step forward. And I think now that makes sense why he didn't go to Chicago, even though he pushed for her to be in Chicago. And she was like, he's punishing me. He was like, when I would try to hug him, he wouldn't hug me back. It's just a disaster. And she feels horrible. And she was like, this is the end. This is when I was like, when she was like, this is the end. And I was like, Erica, calm down, ma'am. And then supposedly Tom trying to ask her for spousal support, which I was like, you tripping, because for a fact she ain't got no money like that, bro. Leave that lady alone. I don't know, y'all. Like, I feel bad for Erica because we've never seen her like this, but I also got my good eye on her. I feel like she knew something, but maybe not to this extent. And then the fact that she's trying so hard to like hold on to everything, I kind of feel like if you really wanted all of this to go away, you would find a way to like give the people and the victims their money and then keep it pushing. Like if I was her, even if I didn't do anything, but I'm attached to it because of my husband, I would probably give up stuff. Like I would sell my car. I would try to find a way to give these people some type of monetary like compensation so that they would leave me alone and solely go after him. Because right now, I think I read a couple of months ago, like maybe a month ago or a couple of weeks ago, that like her lawyers dropped her. So it's not looking good for Erica, y'all. It really isn't. Hopefully she could get it together. But yeah, y'all, remember to be bravely authentic. And I'm out. Oh, and drop down in the comments below and let me know what your thoughts are. Deuces. Also, I wanted to say this before I got off the line. Leave Crystal alone. Y'all already know me and Crystal, but I'm starting to like her now. But I just saw this on Twitter. Y'all need to leave that lady alone. Stop sending that woman hateful, racist stuff. Like some lady named Dashia Pats or whatever that lady name is, gonna send her some disrespectful stuff, calling her, I'm not even gonna say them words. But leave that lady alone. Like for real, like leave her alone. I don't know what it is about y'all and y'all's like obsession with Housewives fans to the point where y'all be sending them ladies death threats, racist comments, and just hateful stuff. Like leave people alone. Like at the end of the day, y'all, this is entertainment. None of us truly really like know these people. So why are y'all being that nasty? Like, leave them people alone. Like, on some real, like, leave them. And I hope Crystal sue the mess out that lady for, like, harassment and, like, what's that word? Not endangerment, but, like, emotional distress. Because there is no need for y'all to be sending people hateful stuff. Like, what gives y'all the audacity and the right to be that bold and that thick in your britches to want to come at somebody and tell them to kill themselves and send some racist shit like that? Like, you should be ashamed of yourself. And especially when it's people that are grown, that like in their 50s and above. Side note, not even 50s. If you over the age of 18 and you sending somebody something hateful like that, you should be ashamed of yourself. And you are trash because that is wrong and that is nasty, and you would not want nobody sending you no mess like that either. Like, what is wrong with y'all? Y'all don't even be knowing the emotional state people really be in, and then you gonna send them some mess like that? Like, what if that person really did kill themselves? Like, for real. Even if you don't have to like people. No one's telling y'all to like the Housewives or not have your favorites. But you don't need to be sending nobody no hateful mess like that. And I'm going to get off because I told my mom I was going to lower on my cussing. But leave people alone. Like, on some real, like, leave people alone.